My 10-year-old grandson leaned in during his birthday party and whispered in my ear. "Grandpa, after the party tonight, Mom and Dad are going to take your money." That one sentence split my world in half. But it really started that same morning, with a call at 7 a.m. The phone buzzed on the kitchen counter just as I lifted my first cup of coffee. The screen lit up in the dim light. "Ethan." My son never called that early unless something was wrong. I wiped my hand on a dish towel and answered. "Morning, son. What's burning down this early?" "Hey, Dad, don't hang up, okay? Just listen," he said, already breathing too fast. Not a good sign. I moved the mug aside. "Slow down. Is Noah okay?" "He's fine," Ethan rushed. "We're all fine. It's just, today's his birthday, and Mia and I really want you to come early. Before everyone else gets here. Like, 1:30. We want to talk. About family stuff. About your future." My eyes flicked to the calendar on the fridge where I'd written Noah, 10 in blue ink. I'd never missed one of his birthdays. I didn't need a special summons to show up with a present and a smile. "You know I'd be there anyway," I said. "You don't have to schedule me like a plumber." "That's not what I meant," he said quickly. I heard Mia's voice in the background, sharp, rushed, a low hiss feeding him lines I couldn't quite catch. "It's just, we've been planning this for weeks. And we want to make sure you're taken care of. We just want what's best for you." There it was, those words people used right before sliding something across a table and handing you a pen. I walked to the window and looked out at my small front yard. Same cracked sidewalk. Same battered mailbox I'd been meaning to replace for 3 years. My neighbor, Mr. Henderson, shuffled out in his faded robe to snag the newspaper from the grass, just like he had every morning for as long as I could remember. Everything outside looked exactly the same. Inside my chest, something tightened. "Family stuff," I repeated. "That's a big category. What kind, exactly?" "Nothing scary," Ethan said, a little too quickly. "Just, you know. Bills. Medical things. What happens down the line? You've been helping us for so long. We want to, like, step up and help you now. Put some things in writing. It's just responsible. We're thinking ahead. For you. For Noah." He stacked the justifications like he was reading off a brochure. "Ethan," I said, forcing a lighter tone, "I'm not in a home yet. I still cut my own grass." He gave a strained laugh. "I know, Dad. Nobody's saying you can't. Just, keep an open mind, okay? We've, talked to a guy about plans and stuff. We've got everything under control." That part, "we've got everything under control," bothered me more than anything. My life, my money, my house, all bundled up under their control. I said. "For Noah, I'll come early. We'll talk." Relief flooded his voice. "Thanks, Dad. Really. You'll see, it's for the best." We hung up, and the kitchen fell back into quiet. Just the hum of the fridge and the ticking of the clock over the doorway. I stood there for a moment, phone still in my hand, watching the call log fade from the screen. On the fridge, held up by a crooked magnet in the shape of a smiley face, was one of Noah's drawings. 4 stick figures in front of a lopsided house. Over each, in wobbly letters, he'd written, "Grandpa, Dad, Mom, me." My stick figure was the tallest, with a bunch of gray lines for hair and a giant blue scribble for a shirt. "Noah had drawn my hands extra big, because you build stuff," he'd said. "For that kid, I'd do anything." But doing anything didn't mean handing over the keys to my life just because someone said, "Trust us." I picked up my coffee. It tasted more bitter than I remembered, like it had been sitting in the pot a little too long. Or maybe my mood had. Grace would have had something to say about this. My late wife never shied away from the truth, especially when it came to Ethan. I could almost see her, leaning against the counter, arms crossed, that small wrinkle between her eyebrows. Listen to the tone, not the words, she would have said. He wants something. Years ago, when Ethan was still sleeping till noon in our basement after dropping out of college, again, she'd stood in the laundry room, folding his shirts. He's kind, but he's weak, she'd told me. Weak people don't start out wanting to hurt you, Gerald. They just don't know how to say no when someone pushy hands them a bad idea. Back then, I'd bristled. He just needs time, I'd argued. He's a good kid. He was a good kid, mostly. That was the problem. Good kids could grow into desperate adults when money got tight. Now, catching my own reflection in the dark microwave door, gray hair, tired eyes, shoulders a little more rounded than they used to be, I wondered if she'd seen this exact moment coming long before I did. I rinsed my cup and set it in the sink, then opened the junk drawer. Under old batteries, orphaned keys, and a nest of rubber bands was a small spiral notebook with a red cover. I hesitated for a second. Then I pulled it out. I'd started that notebook a few years back, quietly, when I realized I couldn't keep helping Ethan and Mia without losing track of how much had gone where. I flipped it open. Page after page of my own handwriting stared back at me. Rent, Ethan and Mia, job fell through. Car repair, urgent. Credit card balance, just this once, Dad. School trip deposit, Noah. New tires, we'll pay you back in a month. Dates. Amounts. Little notes in the margins where I tried to reassure myself, they'll catch up. It's temporary. They're trying. I turned to the last page. The total at the bottom made my mouth go dry. I'd built houses cheaper than what I'd poured into their emergencies. I closed the notebook slowly and felt its weight in my hand, thin paper, but heavy in all the ways that mattered. I slipped it into my back pocket. No real reason. Just instinct. Happy birthday, Noah, I murmured to the empty kitchen. Let's see what your parents have planned for Grandpa, and let's see what Grandpa has planned for your parents. I finished getting dressed, good jeans, clean shirt, belt that still fit on the same notch. No saggy sweatpants, no stained cardigan. Grace always said, if you look helpless, people will start treating you that way. Today of all days, I intended to look very far from helpless. The Oak Ridge shopping plaza was already busy when I pulled in a little after 9. Kids dragged parents toward the arcade, and someone at the coffee cart was burning espresso again. It's just a birthday, I told myself as I killed the engine. You're overreacting. My gut didn't buy it. Inside the toy store, I went straight for the building sets. Noah had been obsessed with bridges lately, asking how they stayed up, how much weight they could carry. A suspension bridge kit on the top shelf caught my eye. Lots of tiny parts, tiny screws, a strip of LED lights along the road. The kind of project that needed patience and 4 steady hands. Good pick, the clerk said as he brought it down. Way easier if you build it with someone. That's the idea, I said. Birthday boys 10 today. Lucky kid, he said, ringing it up. 2 doors down, at the bike shop, I found the second surprise, a navy blue mountain bike. Not flashy, just solid brakes and a tough frame. Noah's knees were almost hitting his chin on his old one, this would actually fit him. While the tech rolled it to the back to adjust the seat, I stepped outside. Gerald? That you? I turned. Mrs. Lopez, my across-the-street neighbor, was coming out of the bank kiosk next door with a bundle of envelopes. Out spoiling your grandson? She asked, nodding at the toy store bag. Guilty, I said. Noah's hitting double digits. You're a good grandpa, she said. Oh, speaking of your family, I saw Ethan and Mia at the Riverside Credit Union downtown on Tuesday. All dressed up, big folder, talking to some guy in a suit in one of those glass offices. Looked serious. A dull thud started up behind my ribs. Downtown branch? I asked. You're sure it was them? Of course, she said. I waved, but they were busy. Figured they were refinancing something. Young people and their loans. She smiled. Tell Noah happy birthday from me. I will, I said. She walked off. The thud in my chest kept going. Tuesday. Riverside Credit Union. Big folder. Guy in a suit. Then the early call about family stuff and your future. Could have been nothing. Didn't feel like nothing. On the way home, I stopped at the flower stall on Maple. Buckets of gerberas and carnations lined the sidewalk. Bouquet? The florist asked. For my daughter-in-law, I said. She's hosting. I'm trying to stay on her good side. He smirked and tied up a bunch of soft pink and white flowers. These look good in photos, he said. Perfect for someone who lived half her life on social media. By the time I pulled up at Ethan and Mia's place, the front yard looked like a balloon factory had exploded. A huge silver 10 bobbed over the porch, tangled in ribbons. Loud music thumped from inside. Kids' voices piled on top of it. I raised my hand to knock, but the door flew open first. Gerald. You're here. Mia beamed, stepping in for a hug. Mia never hugged me. Not at Christmas, not at school concerts. Today, she did. She smelled like frosting and expensive perfume. Mia, I said, handing her the bouquet. For the master planner. Her eyes lit up. These are beautiful. You didn't have to. Which was exactly why I'd done it. Ethan appeared behind her with a dish towel over his shoulder. Hey, Dad, he said. You're early. Perfect, come in. The living room was already packed. Kids in paper crowns, folding tables sagging under snacks, a banner that read, Noah's double digits, hanging a little crooked. Grandpa. Noah barreled into me, nearly slipping on the hardwood. I caught him and laughed. Easy there. Happy birthday, champ. I handed him the bag with the bridge kit. He peered inside. No way, he whispered. This is the kind with real cables. Real enough, I said. We'll build it at my place. Might take a couple weekends and some creative language. He smiled, but there was a quick, worried flicker in his eyes that didn't match the grin. Thanks, Grandpa, he said, softer. This is awesome. There's something bigger in my truck, I added. We'll bring it in after cake. I don't want your mom killing me before you open it. He laughed properly and ran off to show his friends. Mia slid up beside me again, hand light on my arm, guiding me toward the kitchen. Thank you for coming early, she said. We weren't sure you'd feel up to it with, you know, your energy lately. My energy's fine, I said. For now, she replied, still smiling. Her "for now" landed harder than it should have. Ethan appeared on my other side. Dad, I want you to meet someone, he said. This is Ben, we met him at Riverside on Tuesday. He does retirement and insurance planning. He's just here as a friend, giving us some ideas. A man in a pressed shirt turned from the counter and offered his hand. Mr. Hayes, he said smoothly. I've heard a lot about you. He said, Mr. Hayes, like he'd practiced it. We shook. Salesman's handshake, firm, warm, just a touch too polished. Ben's been helping us think ahead, Ethan said. You know, long-term plans, making sure you're looked after, that sort of thing. For you and for Noah. I nodded like I was reassured. Inside, the pieces clicked together. Riverside Credit Union. Big folder. Advisor named Ben. Early invitation. Family stuff. My future. Whatever this was, I was the last one to see the full picture. Later, when the music got louder and the kids were busy screaming over a balloon game, I slipped down the hallway toward the guest bathroom. Halfway there, a small voice called, barely louder than the music. Grandpa? I turned. Noah stood half hidden in his doorway, birthday crown crooked, fingers twisting the hem of his t-shirt. He glanced toward the noise of the party, then back at me. "Can I tell you something?" he whispered. "But you can't tell Mom and Dad I told you." Every instinct I'd ever had as a father and a grandfather sat bolt upright. Lily tugged me into the shadow of her bedroom doorway, away from the noise and balloons. "You really can't tell Mom and Dad I said it," she whispered. "They'll be so mad. Like last time when I repeated what they said about Aunt May." She said it like she already knew exactly what happened when she heard things adults didn't want repeated. "I won't," I said. "You have my word." She took a breath, eyes shining. "Last night I got up for water. They were in the kitchen with papers all over the table. Mom said, after the party we'll get Grandpa to sign, and then the bank man and that other man will do the rest." My stomach dropped. "What kind of papers?" I asked, forcing my voice to stay level. "I don't know. Boring papers." She frowned, trying to remember. "Dad said, what if he says no?" And Mom said, he won't. "We'll tell him it's to protect him. Once he signs, we're in charge anyway." I couldn't feel my hands for a second. I let the panic pass, then made my voice steady. "Did they say anything about you?" I asked. She nodded miserably. "Dad said he feels bad, but Mom said it's for my future and that we'll move somewhere nicer when everything is sorted. But I don't want them to take your house. I like your house." Her voice cracked. "And you." That last word went straight through me. I pulled her into a hug. "You did the right thing telling me," I said quietly. "You are not in trouble. You're brave." "Are you going to stop them?" she mumbled into my shirt. "Yes," I said. "That's my job. Your job is to enjoy your birthday and not worry. Think you can do that for me?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Good," I said. "Now we walk out there like we were just talking about your tower set. No sad faces, or your mom will know something's up. Deal?" A tiny smile. "Deal." We stepped back into the hallway and into the noise. I ruffled her hair and aimed her toward the other kids. Mia spotted me almost instantly. "Everything okay?" she called over the music. "Just admiring the presents," I said. "Listen, I'm starting to get a bad headache. I might not stay too long." Her smile thinned. "Oh, but remember, we wanted to talk after the party." "We can talk tomorrow," I said, pressing my fingers to my temple. "Right now the lights feel like nails in my skull. Leave whatever you've prepared with me, I'll read it tonight. We'll go over it properly in the morning." From the way her smile tightened, I couldn't tell if she believed me or just filed headache under evidence he's slipping. "It's kind of time sensitive," Ethan said, frustration under the concern. "All the more reason to read it with a clear head," I replied. "Daylight, quiet, no sugar rush. We'll handle it like sane people." They didn't like it, but with a room full of guests and a cake waiting, they couldn't push without making a scene. "Okay," Ethan said finally. "We'll drop the papers by tonight." I stayed long enough to watch Lily blow out her candles. She caught my eye across the room and gave me the smallest nod, like we were in on the same secret. Later, at home, I went straight to my desk. I sharpened a pencil out of habit, opened a fresh page in my notebook, and started writing numbers beside every account and property I owned. If Ethan and Mia thought a few signatures after cake would hand them the keys to all of it, they were about to find out who they were really dealing with. When I finished adding up every account and property on my desk, my hand hurt and my jaw ached from clenching. I wasn't guessing anymore. I knew exactly how much I was worth. And I knew exactly what Ethan and Mia thought they were about to scoop up. I closed the notebook, took a slow breath, and picked up my phone. First call, Riverside Credit Union. I punched in the direct line for the downtown branch and asked for Laura, the manager. She'd helped me refinance a rental place years ago and still sent me "hope you're well" emails every Christmas. "Riverside, this is Laura," she said. "Gerald?" Wow, it's been a while. Yeah, I said. Sorry to bother you on a weekend, but I've got a hypothetical. Those are never really hypothetical, she said lightly. What's going on? I stared at the stack of bills and statements on my dining table. Let's say somebody's adult kids come in, I said, asking how to take over their father's accounts because they claim he's getting confused. Not adding them, taking over. What would they be talking to you about? Her tone shifted. They'd ask about powers of attorney, she said. Sometimes about what happens if a doctor declares someone incompetent. We tell them they'd need signed documents and medical proof before we can let anyone else run the show. I swallowed. Has anyone brought you that kind of scenario recently? Someone with my last name. She was quiet for a moment. Gerald, she said, you know I can't discuss other clients. I'm not asking for balances, I said. Just, whether my gut is crazy. My neighbor said she saw my son and his wife at your office Tuesday. Big folder. Serious faces. If that was them, I need to know if I'm imagining things or not. Another pause. I could almost hear her weighing rules versus the sound in my voice. Let's just say this, she said finally. Someone who fits that description came in. They asked a lot of very specific questions about, what if Dad is already forgetting things and, how fast can we move once we have signatures and a doctor's letter? My grip on the phone tightened. I shouldn't even say that much, she added, softer, but, your instincts aren't wrong. For a moment I just stared at the wall. It felt like someone had poured concrete slowly into my chest. Thank you, Laura, I managed. That's all I needed. Gerald, she said, you sound perfectly sharp to me right now. Please don't sign anything you don't understand. If they bring you papers, get someone on your side to read them. Oh, I intend to, I said. You've been a big help. We hung up. I sat there for a full minute, letting the confirmation settle. Then the phone lit up again. Ethan. I answered. Yeah. Hey, Dad, he said. We just dropped Noah at a friend's house. Thought we'd swing by with those papers now, so you don't have to worry about them tomorrow. There it was. Sure, I said, making my voice a little slower, a little heavier. Come on over. I'm home. They arrived 20 minutes later. Mia came in first, clutching a slim black folder like it was a winning lottery ticket. Ethan followed, hands shoved in his pockets. Gerald, you look wiped, she said, all concern. You should have taken a nap. I'll live, I said. Let's see what you've got. We sat at the dining table. She opened the folder and slid a neat stack of papers toward me, along with a smooth metal pen. There's really not much, she said. Just some forms so we can help with bills, medical decisions, that sort of thing. We highlighted where you sign. I put on my glasses and started reading. They weren't even shy about it. The first document named Ethan as my attorney-in-fact, with full authority over my accounts. The second was for healthcare decisions if I lacked capacity. Halfway down page 3, in smaller print, was a line about supporting any future petitions for conservatorship or guardianship as necessary. Little landmines in lawyer language. Mia tapped a highlighted paragraph with a fingernail. This just lets us step in and take the stress off you, she said. You hate paperwork, remember? Ethan tried to smile. We'd never do anything you didn't want, Dad. This just makes it official. He said it, but his eyes dropped to the table. I let a beat of silence stretch. Big words, I said finally. My head's foggy today. They swim on the page. If anything, that's why we shouldn't wait, Mia said quickly. You've already been misplacing things. Forgetting stuff. This way, if it gets worse, it's all handled. Ben said it's smart to be ahead of it. Each little slip I'd shrugged off as normal aging, lost keys, a missed appointment, came back in her mouth as evidence. I made my hand shake slightly as I pushed the first page away. I still like to know what I'm signing, I said. That habit kept me out of trouble for decades. It's standard, she insisted. We already booked a notary for tomorrow morning. If you sign now, we'll just take these in, stamp them, and boom, no more stress for you. If they wanted to treat me like I was foggy, I could use that fog when it suited me. My head is pounding, I said. If I sign anything right now, I'll just be trying to get you out of my house faster. Leave them here. I'll read them tonight. If it all makes sense, we'll sign. At the notary, she cut in. With my notary, I corrected, still calm. Here. In this house. Daylight, quiet. No rush. Ethan shifted in his chair. Dad, we're just trying to help. I know you think you are, I said. So let me do one thing to help myself, understand exactly what I'm agreeing to. Mia's smile flattened around the edges. We just don't want you to get confused and then have something bad happen, she said. Then you should be thrilled I'm insisting on reading, I said. If your intentions are good, one night won't ruin them. Ethan glanced at her, then back at me. Maybe that's fair, he said quietly. We don't want you to feel pushed. She shot him a look, but she was boxed in. Fine, she said. We'll leave them. Just, please take them seriously, okay? Oh, I am, I said. At the door, Ethan hesitated. You do trust us, right? He asked. I mean, we're doing this for you. I met his eyes. I trust what you do more than what you say, I replied. We'll talk after I've read. His shoulders sagged a little. He followed Mia out. When the door closed, the house went very quiet. I sat there for a moment, staring at the folder on the table. Then I picked it up, carried it to my desk, and laid it beside my notebook and my own stack of papers. Their plan was on paper now. In my house. In my hands. I scrolled through my contacts and tapped a name I hadn't used in years, Nora, mobile notary. She answered on the third ring. Nora here. It's Gerald Hayes, I said. You stamped half my contracts back when I still climbed scaffolding. She laughed. Now there's a blast from the past. What can I do for you, Gerald? I've got some family documents that need signing, I said. And I don't trust the people who drafted them. I'd like you here tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, with your book, your stamp, and your sharpest pair of eyes. That sounds interesting, she said. I can do 10. You want witnesses, too? I'll handle that, I said. Just be ready. I've got a feeling tomorrow's going to be one for the books. Nora arrived at 5 minutes to 10, leather bag on her shoulder, notary book under her arm. Morning, Gerald, she said, stepping inside. You sounded fired up on the phone. Something like that, I said. Coffee's on the table. So are the papers. I'd spent half the night at my desk with an old template my lawyer, Collins, had drawn up years ago, for when you finally stop putting this off, Gerald. By sunrise, I had a new, simple will. A trust putting everything in Noah's name, managed by a professional trustee. A short statement saying I wouldn't recognize any future power of attorney papers unless they were signed and notarized in Nora's presence. We'd gone over all of it already. She knew what she was stamping. At exactly 10, the doorbell rang again. Ethan and Mia came in dressed a little sharper than usual. Mia clutched the black folder from yesterday. Ethan's eyes were red, like he hadn't slept much. They froze when they saw Nora seated at the table, stamp ready. Oh, Mia said slowly. You already called someone. You wanted a notary, I said. You've got one. Have a seat. They sat. Mia slid her folder forward like she was presenting a winning bid. So, she said, if you're feeling clearer today, we can sign these and head straight to Riverside. Ben said once we have a notary, it'll be straightforward. I didn't touch her folder. These, I said, tapping my stack instead, "Are the documents being signed today?" Ethan frowned. "What are those?" "My updated will," I said, "and a trust for Noah. Everything I own goes into it. A neutral trustee runs it. Not you. Not Mia." Mia's face drained of color. "You're joking," she said. Her eyes weren't hurt. They were calculating. "No," I said. "Nora's read every word." Nora nodded. "I'm satisfied he understands what he's signing," she said. "These are his clear instructions." "You can't just cut us out," Mia hissed. "After everything we've—" "I can," I said quietly. "And I am. I know what you told the bank about me being confused. I know what you planned after the party." Ethan swallowed hard. "Dad, we panicked," he said. "We just wanted some security. We weren't trying to hurt you. You were going to take control," I said. "Behind my back. Using my confusion as leverage. That's not help. That's a coup." For a moment, nobody moved. Then I picked up Nora's pen and signed the first page of the trust. My hand didn't shake. Nora stamped it. The quiet thunk sounded like a door closing. "That's it?" Mia said, stunned. "You're really doing this?" "I'm making sure Noah is safe," I said. "And that you can't treat me like your backup plan anymore. You want security? Earn it." Ethan's voice came out small. "Do you hate us now?" he asked. For a second, he sounded 12 again, caught lying about a broken window. "I hate what you tried to do," I said. "What happens next, that's on you." Nora finished with the last page and closed her book. "As of right now," she said calmly, "these are the only documents I've notarized from this house." I pushed their untouched folder back across the table. "You can take these with you," I said. "They won't be needed." Mia snatched it up like it might still turn into money if she held it tight enough. "You'll regret this," she snapped. "Not as much as I'd regret signing them," I replied. She turned and walked out. Ethan lingered a second longer, eyes shiny, then followed. The door closed. The house went quiet. Nora let out a breath. "Well," she said, "that was something." I looked at the signed trust, then at the photo of Noah on the shelf, gap-toothed grin, arms around my neck. "Today wasn't really a choice," I said. "It was a promise I should have kept a long time ago." The house felt too quiet after Nora left. She'd shaken my hand, promised to email scanned copies so nobody can pretend this didn't happen, and gone. I made coffee, opened the paper, and read the same paragraph 5 times without taking in a single word. By noon, my phone was still silent. No angry calls. No apologies. Just the hum of the fridge and the tick of the kitchen clock. Around 2, it finally rang. "Mr. Hayes. It's Laura from Riverside." I straightened. "Everything all right?" "I just wanted you to know we've received your new will and trust documents," she said. "Properly notarized. We've updated your file." "Nora works fast," I said. "Good. I've also added a note," she went on. "Any changes to control of your accounts will require you here in person. No one else." A knot I hadn't realized I was holding loosened a little. "I appreciate that, Laura. We see families try things," she said quietly. "I'm glad you moved first." "I am too," I said. "Thanks for having my back." We hung up. For the first time in days, my shoulders dropped a fraction. Noah showed up around 4, backpack slung over one shoulder. "Hi, Grandpa," he said. "Dad dropped me off. He said you two need space and I can stay here tonight." That phrasing had Mia's fingerprints all over it, but I stepped aside. "Come in. You hungry?" "Always," he said, managing a small smile. We made grilled cheese and tomato soup. It was the same thing I used to throw together when Ethan was little and money was tight. Noah ate quietly for a while, then finally asked. Are Mom and Dad in trouble? Not with the police, I said. With me? Yeah. He picked at his crust. Mom keeps saying you cut them out, he muttered. She told me I'm too young to understand. He said it like it wasn't the first time he'd heard that line. Grown-up problems are exactly why I had to act, I said. But none of this is your fault. You heard something wrong, and you told the truth. That's hard to do. I'm proud of you. His cheeks went pink. Did they still try to take your money? He asked. They tried to take control, I said. But I said no. And I put up some paper shield so they can't do it behind my back. So they can't make you move? He asked. Not without climbing over a lot of lawyers, I said. And I don't think they're up for that. Later, as I tucked him into the guest bed, he stared at the ceiling. Am I still allowed to love them, he whispered, if they did something bad? That hurt more than any form they'd pushed across the table. Yes, I said immediately. You're allowed to love them and be mad at them at the same time. Both can be true. He let that roll around in his head, then nodded slowly. Okay. And whatever happens between me and your parents, I added, you and I are solid. That doesn't change. His shoulders finally relaxed. A minute later, he was asleep. The next day, close to noon, Ethan called. I stepped onto the porch before answering so I wouldn't wake Noah. Yeah, I said. You blindsided us, he said. No hello, no preamble. No, I replied. You tried to blindside me. I just turned the lights on. He was quiet for a second. I could hear him breathing hard, like he'd been pacing. We were drowning, he said finally. Bills, the car, Mia's hours getting cut, it felt like everything was collapsing. Ben said what we were doing was normal. That families do this all the time. Ben gets paid to make that sound normal, I said. That doesn't make it right. I let that sit, then added, I heard what you told the bank. About me being confused. You really believe that? Another long pause. No, he said at last. Not really. I know you're still sharp. I just said what they said would make it easier. That's how people talk themselves into stealing, I said. One easier at a time. He exhaled, rough. I guess you changed everything. I did, I said. The will, the trust. You're not getting control of my accounts. Not now, probably not ever. That part's done. So we're just cut off, he asked. You're cut off from my money, I said. You're not cut off from me, yet. That depends on what you do next. He was quiet again. I don't know how to fix this. You start by not looking for shortcuts, I said. Get help. Get a second job if you have to. Sell the shiny car if you have to. Stop letting people like Ben translate your fear into signatures. He sniffed. Is Noah okay? He's building a bridge in my kitchen, I said. He was scared I'd lose the house. I told him I wouldn't. I also told him he's allowed to love you and be mad at you at the same time. Thank you for not turning him against us, he said. That part's your job, I replied. Don't make it easy. We let the line hang for a few seconds, then hung up without goodbyes. When I came back in, Noah was hunched over the suspension bridge kit, tongue sticking out in concentration. These tiny screws are evil, he muttered. But I'm winning. I sat down beside him and picked up the instructions. Need a hand? I asked. Yeah, he said. But I still want to do most of it myself. Good, I said. That's the right way to build anything. 3 weeks later, life had settled into a strange new shape. The trust was in place, Riverside had its notes, and the paper shields stood where my blind faith used to be. The real work now wasn't signatures. It was figuring out how to live with the people who tried to use them. One Friday afternoon, Ethan texted. "Can we come by? Me and Mia. Just to talk. No papers." I stared at the screen for a moment, then replied. 1 hour. Just adults. Noah's at a friend's. They arrived right on time. Mia looked tired in a way makeup couldn't fix. Ethan looked worse, like he'd been sleeping inside his guilt instead of on a mattress. We sat at the dining table, same as before. No folders this time. Just 3 mugs of coffee and a lot of air between us. Mia spoke first, eyes on her hands. "We owe you an apology," she said. "A real one." That alone was new. "We told ourselves we were protecting you," she went on. "But we were mostly trying to protect us." Ben made it sound normal. Smart. "Get ahead of it now," he kept saying. We liked that sentence too much. She looked up, and this time I didn't see anger at being caught. I saw shame. Ethan cleared his throat. "I quit working with him," he said. "We found a different advisor. One who doesn't start every conversation with 'once you get control of your dad's assets.'" "Good start," I said. Mia swallowed. "I was furious when you signed everything away from us," she admitted. "I told myself you didn't trust us. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, we gave you every reason not to." She took a breath. "I'm sorry, Gerald. For the bank. For the papers. For using your age as a weapon." The room went quiet. "I appreciate the apology," I said. "That doesn't erase what you tried to do. But it's a better direction than pretending it was fine." "We don't expect you to undo anything," Ethan said quickly. "The trust, the will, that's yours. We get it. We just don't want Noah growing up thinking his family is a lost cause." "Too late for perfect," I said. "Not too late for honest." Mia let out a small, crooked laugh at that. We spent the next half hour doing something we should have done years ago, talking numbers like adults. Ethan slid a folded sheet of lined paper across the table. "This is our budget now," he said. "We cut the extra subscriptions. Sold the fancy car. I picked up more shifts. Mia's taking a course so she can move into a better paying role." He watched my face. "I'm not asking you for money," he added. "I just wanted you to see we're not sitting around waiting for you to fix it." I scanned the page. It wasn't pretty, but it was honest. No secret column labeled Dad. "This is the first time you've shown me a plan that doesn't end with, 'and then Dad helps,'" I said. "That's kind of the point," he replied. Mia nodded. "We know we lost the right to ever ask for control," she said. "We're not going to fight the trust. If you ever decide to let us be involved, that's your call. If you don't, we'll live with it. We just want Noah to have all of us, without losing you." I looked at both of them. "Here are my new rules," I said at last. 1. No more secrets about money. If you're in trouble, you say it straight. No schemes. They both nodded. 2. You don't talk about me being confused to anyone unless I actually am. No stories to banks, no, just to make it easier. Another pair of nods. 3. Noah is not your messenger. You don't use him to pass things between us, or to pressure me. You talk to me yourselves. Agreed, Ethan said quietly. And 4, I added, you don't ask about the trust. It's there for Noah. Not as a safety net for you. If I ever choose to help you with something, it'll be because you were honest first, not because you expect it. That's fair, Ethan said. It's more than fair, Mia murmured. It's grown up. Later that evening, Noah came over for our usual bridge night. He'd finished one end of the suspension kit, we were working our way toward the middle. Mom said you and Dad had a serious talk, he said, lining up a tiny beam. We did, I said. No papers this time. Just words. Did they say sorry? He asked. Yes, I said. And they're trying to fix some things. That doesn't make what they did okay. But trying is better than pretending. He threaded a plastic cable through a hole, tongue sticking out in concentration. I told my teacher I was scared my family was broken, he said suddenly. She said being broken and being bad aren't the same thing. Does that make sense? More than she probably knows, I said. He tightened one of the little screws very carefully. Do you think, he asked, when I'm big, I'll do messed up stuff too? Absolutely, I said. His head snapped up. What? You're human, I said. You'll mess up. Everybody does. The important part is what you do afterward, if you hide it, or you fix it. If you hurt people on purpose, or you try to make it right. He thought about that for a long moment. I want to be better than them, he said quietly. Then start now, I replied. Keep telling the truth, even when it's scary. Keep asking questions. And remember this whole mess when someone tells you a shortcut is normal. He nodded slowly, like he was saving it somewhere deep. We snapped the next section of the bridge into place. The structure wobbled for a second, then held. Hey, he said, a little proud. It didn't fall. Good, I said. Means we're finally building on something solid. 5 years slipped by faster than I liked to admit. Noah turned 15, then 16. He got taller than me, then broader in the shoulders. The bridge kit ended up in a glass case on his bookshelf, dusty but still standing. One rainy afternoon, I sat in Laura's office at Riverside Credit Union, cane hooked on the chair, a cup of weak coffee in my hand. The latest trust statement lay between us. Everything solid, she said. Investments are steady. The education portion will easily cover university and then some. Good, I said. He's talking about engineering. Might as well have the money to build things I can't even pronounce. Laura smiled. You did right by him, Gerald. I'd made enough mistakes in my life to doubt a lot of things. That one, I felt sure about. That evening, Noah picked me up in a second-hand hatchback that rattled when it idled. Don't say anything about the noise, he warned. I already know. I was going to say it has character, I replied. He snorted. That's Old Man 4, sounds like it's dying. We grabbed burgers from a drive-thru and parked overlooking the river, wipers ticking back and forth. Mom said you had a bank meeting, he said, unwrapping his food. Everything okay? Everything's fine, I said. Your future's funded. You finish school, you'll have options. After that, the trustee releases more in stages. No one can blow it all at once, not even you. He nodded. I'm glad you didn't just hand it to Mom and Dad, he said. They're better now. But I know what they almost did. You're allowed to remember, I said. You're also allowed to see that they're trying. I do, he said quietly. Dad's different. He still messes up, but he doesn't hide it anymore. We ate in silence for a minute, listening to the rain on the windshield. Hey, Grandpa, he said suddenly. When you're, not here anymore, do you want me to just use the money and move on? Or, what? I took a breath. I want you to use it to make your life bigger, I said. Not easier. Go to school, build things, help people. And if you ever have kids, I want you to remember this whole mess before you sign anything with their names on it. He smiled a little. So, no pressuring them into giving me their passwords. Exactly, I said. And if you ever start sounding like Ben, I will haunt you. He laughed, really laughed. Deal. He hesitated, then added, for what it's worth. I don't think of you as money. Good, I said. I worked too hard on my personality. Later that night, he walked me up to my front door, same way I used to walk him to kindergarten. You need help inside, he asked. I've got it, I said. Old bones, not broken ones. He nodded, then hugged me, careful of my shoulder, taller than me by a head. "Love you, Grandpa," he said. "Love you too, kid," I replied. "Try not to crash that car on the way home. The trust doesn't cover stupidity." He grinned and headed back to the rattling hatchback. I watched his taillights disappear down the street, then stepped inside, closing the door on the rain. On the mantel, the latest family photo sat in a cheap frame, me in the middle, Noah on one side, Ethan and Mia on the other. Lines on our faces, but no one looking away. We weren't perfect. We weren't fixed. But the bridge was still standing. And for a family that once tried to sign itself apart, that was more than enough.